What is going on, guys? It's your boy here again, Dean, and I am giving you guys the 6 best decks you could be playing for BP9 of Shadowverse Evolve. That's right, we're going to be doing one deck for each class, and let's get right into it. So, first up is Forestcraft. Forestcraft got a lot of cool cards. They'll be in a separate video. Cool cards are cool. Puppets is still pretty damn good. I mean, we saw this format. Big inclusions are, we are actually including the Archer in the deck, including one of the Evo. What is this for? It's for Bats. Bats is going to be building this wide board. We want to be able to respond to the wide board and remove it. So bringing back some old cards. Another big inclusion for this list is the new card, the Paula Icy Warmth, 2 mana, 2/2. 1 mana, we get to choose each side. It's like one of those choose cards. So on the one side, we get to look at top 5 of our deck, reveal a Forestcraft spell, add it to our hand. The rest go on the bottom in any order, or on evolve 2 cards in your field, put them into their EX area, and then combo 3, select an enemy follower in the field, and deal it 3 damage. Okay. Obviously, this side is going to be able to hand fix us, right? We're going to be able to get cool cards like Heartless Battle, so we can go turn 1 Junk, turn 2 Paula, find Heartless Battle, and get the ball rolling. But also, we've got cards like, Nature's Guidance. But this side, I mean, let's let this Paula Passionate Warmth. This side is pretty good too. There are actually lines where you're going to be able to go. If you have a ton of mana, you can go like Noah, Vengeful Puppeteer, into the Victoria and the Lloyd, hitting the face, into the Paula Evo to be able to recycle the Paula and the Lloyd, or sorry, the Lloyd and the Victoria, which is actually 16 damage by itself. So actually it's like a huge push, much bigger push from Noah on later turns off of this like nice little inclusion. Of course, we're playing the Elf Song to be able to buff the board. And the new card, the last new card of the deck, is the Substitution. 2 mana, select an enemy follower that costs 3 or less on the field. Return it to your opponent's hand, and then you get a puppet. This is important because Vayne has like a 6/6 for 3 mana. Opponent's Orcuses, right? Like, there's a lot of really powerful 3 drops that this is going to be able to deal with, and it's quick, so we're going to have some defensive measures against them. Other than that, I mean, I think you guys know from like the last set, Puppets is a pretty damn strong archetype. Not really much else to say about that, if you got that. It's a pretty cheap to improve. Just a couple, what is that, like a bronze? Gold. Just like a couple golds, and then an actual bronze. $3 upgrade, and you're done. But maybe you don't want to do the $3 upgrade. Maybe you're a Sword gamer. I'm excited to play Sword, because guess who finally got a card? Prim. That's right. So this set, Sword is a tempo deck. It's black and white. It's aggro, tempo. You just get a big board, and you just continuously apply pressure. So we're going to be reading a lot of new cards, but we're going to see some familiar old faces. So first up is Celia, the Sky Commander, 1 mana, 2/2. She has Evolve for 1 to go into the Hope Strategist, or Evolve for 4 into Despair's Messenger. So that's a 2-sided card again. For the 1, we can get a Shield Guardian, which is just a 1/1 with Ward. Pretty shit. But if we Evolve her for 4, on Evolve we get a Steelclad Knight and a Knight. So this is like a Floral Fencer with Storm. It's literally the exact same line of text, but for 1 extra mana. Very powerful. It will help us build quite wide boards, which is going to be coming in later on. Kagamitsu, we're playing 2 of him. I think this is just to be able to like put down on the board, and because we have like a 1-drop that evolve, we have multiple 1-drops that evolve. Very low curve. Kagamitsu is going to be coming in the mid game, and hopefully just give us like a huge body on the board that's very hard to remove. We're not playing the full Kagamitsu OTK, which is what I like to do with the card, but that's okay. Next up is we have the Savage Swordsman, 1 mana, 2/2, so just more goblins. And if there's a token follower in your field, he actually is a 3/3. Latham, it's the new Latham. It's a card that, we're going to be able to go Celia, Evo, this guy, huge board out of nowhere. We got the 1/1 ward, so cards with a sail can't touch us. They need actual hard removal. Very good curve. Next up is Leod. We know Leod from before. Very good into bats, being able to pick off multiple bats, and it's very hard for them to deal with this card. And it's also good in the mirror match, being able to pick off things like the Shield Guard. I was going to say Big Shield Guard. No, the Shield Guardian. There we go. Prim, new card. She summons a knight, so we get a 1/1 with her. 2 mana 1/1, so it's just a 2/2 for 2. But then on evolve, we're going to be able to search our deck for a Nonya, the Silent Maid, reveal it, and we just shuffle our deck. So she tutors out a very powerful card, this Nonya. 3 mana 4/4, but costs 1 less to play if we have Prim. So if we've played Prim and Prim has managed to live, we now get a 2 mana 4/4 that has Fanfare, draw 2, ditch 2, which actually will feed into a lot of our other powerful cards from earlier. Like earlier sets. We'll get into that in a second. Next up is Queen, the Magnus Bride. So there's like, I think it's like Hemra and Magnus. And you choose the side in digital. But in this, they're separate cards. 2 mana, 2/2. And while it's on your field, your Queen White has a sail. And we can tap her to give 2 cards on our board +1 attack. 2 Swordcraft cards. So, you know, if we have like Celia and like something random live, instead of just being 3 damage on the board, it's actually 5 damage. So definitely a very aggressive card. Ralmia coming back because notice we're getting a lot of tokens here. We're getting a lot of tokens off this. Like every single card is summoning, not that one, but like a lot of our cards are summoning tokens. And so Ralmia is, the hope is like some 1/1s live, and Ralmia is a 2 mana 3/2, can evolve for 3, but for every other follower on your board, that cost is reduced by 1. And then on evolve, she gets Storm. And if you have 3 extra mana, it says your opponent basically dies. Very powerful card. But this is like why I think of it like somewhat like Tempo, is the Aether of the Warrior Wing from last set, right? This card never really had a home. You could put it in decks, but it was very difficult to trigger its effect outside of specifically a Natura deck where you were like churning trees. But even then, that deck was usually discarding spells and had a heavy like spell count. Now we have a heavy follower count, and we're actually able to get this effect that at the end of the turn, not only do we get our tutor, but we get to give every follower on our board +1/+1, which with all of the cheap token generation that we have and all of the going wide, this thing's going to come down. Our board's going to become massive. Like, right, our board's already big, but now it's already wide, but now it's also like big. Very good card. We got the Queen Hemra the White, 3 mana 4/3. It's got Rush. Remember, we can have a sail if we also have the Black Queen. We get a Knight on play, and then if we have the Black Queen, we actually get 2. And then Strike, we get a Knight token into our EX area that I don't know if we're ever going to be able to play, but we do get it. Tsubaki, once again, this is a card that really didn't have a home, but Aether was actually an okay card by itself. Tsubaki was really shit until this set. 5 followers in our grave, we get to kill a card when we play her. But if there's 10, she's a 3 mana 4/3 Storm, which is slightly over spec. Plus you still get the removal. Very good card. And of course the Sword Flash Panther. He's a 4 mana 4/3 with Rush. He came out in the last set. He was very good with Octress, but now he's got a place in this deck where we get to revive a 2 cost or less in our grave and then give it +1 attack. Depending on the turn, right? We can be using this to revive things like the Kagamitsu. We can use it to revive a Leod that's going to have ambush and then very hard to deal with. We can go super wide with this, or, you know, we have a token left. We drop down the Sword Flash Panther, bring back the Ralmia, Evo, and just get in there for game, right? This is a very good, versatile card. And thanks to this, maybe like some of these cards aren't very good in our hand, but we're able to use this to like filter them out and then revive it with this. And then get that huge board. Very good. Next up is Monochrome Duel, 5 mana. It also has, what is this thing? It's a spell. Okay, it's got a 2 mana effect as well. Banish this card from your cemetery. Give each knight on your field +1 and Storm. And search your deck for a Queen Hemra the White, Queen Magnus the Black. Summon them, then shuffle your deck. Give them +1/+1. So for 5 mana, we get 5 mana worth of dudes out of our deck. But they're also bigger than normal. So they're actually pretty big. Look at that, 3/3. And then this thing becomes a 5/4. And then later on in the game, we can just use this at any time to pay 2 and just give a bunch of our cards on our board Storm. Knight specifically, right? Give each knight. Well, knights are pretty... They're just the 1/1s. Right? I guess we get them with Prim. We get them with her. get some big pushes in the late game. And then, of course, we have Courtly Dance. I do like this build a lot because it's got the Courtly Dance, which is our just big push at the end. Hopefully be able to hit, like, you know, Ralmia, and that's really the only card that has Storm innately, without basically this thing shitting down our opponent's throats. I like this build specifically over the Oceanus, or whatever her name is, because like cards that I saw a lot in decks that I didn't want to include are, yeah, the 1-mana Oceanus that says every time a guy on your board evolves, you can ping something on the board for 2, or you can heal for 1. I just feel like now our deck that's like super low to the ground and is just kind of wanting to be happy about like what we have in hand and just continuously apply pressure and win by turn like 5 to 6. Suddenly it's got this card that we need to see early with like other cards that enable it. I don't like that. I want to have my deck be as streamlined as possible, and I just feel like the Oceanus card is a little too cute for what I want to be playing. Another card is I don't like Floral Fencer. I don't think that Floral Fencer is a good card. It's not that I'm not willing to test it. It's just like these are my initial lists that I pulled from. I looked at a bunch of different lists and I kind of decided on like where I wanted to start. And so I don't want to include Floral Fencer. I think the card is a win more card. I think you already have to be in a good position, and it doesn't do a whole lot by itself. While like every card in this deck gets better as like time goes on, right? Like it's not just a card that I have to put down, eat my evil for the turn, and all I get is like 7/7 worth stats. A lot of the cards in this deck do a lot more. It either like fills up our grave, helps us find better cards, revives something, helps control the board. And I just don't think that Floral Fencer is in the deck that I want to be playing. It's not saying that Floral Fencer is bad, but that's where I'm at on this one. I like the look of this shell. The Kagamichi is the one I'm a little bit iffy about, but I also see, you know, the benefit of this card just being massive once we get to the mid game, and it's a crazy hit off of the Courtly Dance, obviously. So yeah, hopefully, you know, you guys like this build. And if you don't, you know, let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong about that Floral Fencer. I'll know soon enough after I start testing a lot more, but this is my starting point. Next up is Dirt. I was looking at all of the Dirt lists from Japan, and at the end, I had the same deck on 3 different tabs, and I said, okay, well, that's probably the deck. So, let's get into it. First up, we got the Dog. 1-mana, 2/2, Beastface Mage. We can tap him, Earthright, deal something 2 damage, and last words, we get a Magic Sediment token. Reminder, with Dirt Rune, the goal is you get these like little sediments, and then you can tap the sediments to get markers and eat the other sediments on your board, and then you cash in the sediment counters, the Earthrights, in order to get additional effects. So that's kind of the way this mechanic works if you've never seen it. We've got 2 Angelic Barrage. This was a meta call specifically because Bats was heavily played. Still think this is okay. It's also good into Onions, which is a pretty fucked up deck that you might see, because I think that deck is both funny and actually real. I do like that about this format, is so the joke decks are actually scary. The card that really makes this deck really good is Gingerbread House. I don't know how many people have been playing with this. I've seen it a lot at locals since it came out way back in, was it BP3, BP4? Whichever one Alice was in. Give your leader +3 health. Just stack. It's an Earth Sigil, just heals you for 3. We'll see why that's really messed up later. Teachings of Creations, we had the Sunset one. Draw a card. Witch's Cauldron. Also, this was like the Millie Parfait collab card. Stack, we get to look at top 4 of our deck. Get a card with Earthright, add it to our hand, remaining go on bottom. This is just like your tutor, or in this game, we don't have real tutor 95% of the time. We have these top check 4 effects, but it helps us get to the cards we need, or get 4 cards closer. Now, the Rabbit Mage is a 2 of. It's a new card, summon a Magic Sediment token on play, and then we get to evolve him. Only playing 1 of the Evo, though. And we get to top check 4 and reveal a card with Earthright, so basically it's the Cauldron, but on a body, and it summons the Cauldron after, so you just get the body, basically. Not sure about this. I think this is to just avoid getting aggroed out. We're on triple Red Hot Ritual. Select an enemy follower in the field and deal 3 damage. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of this card, but in testing, we'll have to see. I just know that a lot of the Japanese list tended to play it, and, you know, who am I to argue with someone who won a major event, right? Summoning Drills. This one is also a stack, so it's an Earth Sigil again. This card's really good. So on play, we get to get a Guard Form Golem, which is the 2/3 ward. But also on Fanfare, we can discard a card from our hand, get the Strike Form Golem, that's the 3/2 Rush token, and we put that into our EX area, and then each golem on our board and in our EX area gets +1 attack. Very powerful. Sometimes, you know, maybe one of those wards lives from earlier in the game. You just get to slam down a second one of these. Huge board out of nowhere. Opponent's going to be really struggling to deal with it. Very powerful card. Ancient Alchemist. This card has been good. It's good on and off. This has been the finisher for Dirt since set 1. 3 mana Earthright. We get 2 Guard Form Golems. That's 2/3 wards into our EX area. And then Evolve for 3. Very expensive, but that's because it's insane. Becomes a 3/6. Also, this thing's stat line is still insane. 2/5. Very sticky card. And if it managed to live, you're rewarded by every Golem follower costs 1 less to play. And whenever a Golem follower is played onto the board, we get to hit something for 3, including the enemy face, so that we can get to burn up to 6, usually with the way the board is. Or if you're really lucky, you can burn up to 12. Usually it's like 6 to 9 at most. But here's a really good card that we also got. Seiryotennan, 3 mana, 3/3 Earthright. We get an instant poison into our EX area, and it says right here, instant poison is a card that we can deal 4 damage to an enemy follower, and then 2 damage to its leader, and that card costs 2. But more importantly, we can evolve it for 1, and then on evolve, we have Earthright, get an Eternal Potion into our EX area. And the first forbidden token, which is what both of these potions are forbidden. So you can either like burn something on the board for 4, hit the enemy face for 2, or we can use the Eternal Potion, which is select a Runecraft follower that costs 3 or less in our cemetery and summon it, give it rush, and at the start of your end phase, destroy it. I mean, you know what card is really good when it comes out that costs 3 or less? Riley. Riley has this Earthright effect that says if this card was put on the field from the cemetery, you get to do everything. And then it doesn't get banished because it wasn't summoned with the 6 mana effect, but it was summoned off of the potion, right? Select enemy follower. Wait, this potion? Yeah, so this thing, the potion. Runecraft follower, 3 or less, summon it. And at the end of the turn, gets destroyed. Riley, come and play from the cemetery. You get all 3 effects. And you don't get the downside being banished. So then you can summon it again later. Very powerful card. Also, 2 mana in the, like, let's say that you use this for removal, because, like, Riley's not set up. Ancient Alchemist for 2, evolve for 3, shove a bunch of things, burn a bunch. Very powerful card. This card is truly insane. Some of the plays that you get later on. And Riley, I mean, we know about Riley. She's been good forever. Very modular card. Pretty shit when you're only getting 1 of the effects. Very powerful once you're getting all 3. We also have the Mirror of Truth, 3 mana Earth Sigil. This card's been played. It was played in Dirt a little bit. I guess some people might have played Dirt. Didn't have that many good targets. Select an Alchemist follower that costs 3 or less in your grave and summon it. It's for 3. Well, look at that. New Alchemist card is Seiryotennan, so we're going to be able to use that to once again revive Riley. Before, I think we really only had the Ancient Alchemist, but now we have this, so we can get like multiple huge plays off of this single card hitting the board. Unbelievable amount of recursion, unbelievably powerful boards. We even have 1 Price of Magic, which when we see Faust, you'll understand why. It just banishes a card with 4 or less defense on the board. Pretty messed up. Banishing is very powerful. There's a lot of effects that require either a specific name card engrave or a number of cards engrave. And of course, there's always last words and other effects, or like maybe in the mirror match, you can get rid of a Riley, you can get rid of a Seiryotennan. Very good card. I really hope that people have this. This card is very expensive. I remember that I sold a playset. It was like $20 per copy. I hope it's a little bit cheaper nowadays, but maybe I'm wrong. Sweet Tooth Medusa, 4 mana, 3/4. This is from last set. And we get to search a card that costs 2 or less on play. And then we get the super messed up amount of actual removal from this card, where on Evolve we get to deal 5 damage across 2 bodies. And then for every time something on our opponent's board dies, we get a Serpent. And then if we bury 2 Serpents, something can be played for 2 less. This is just our huge board wipe. It completely can clean up a bat board by itself. You can go all 5 into a single follower. Very good card. Very powerful. It's going to be grabbing your like big cards like Red Hot Ritual. So you can go, yeah, like Sweet Tooth Medusa, pick off a Serpent, or sorry, pick off a bat, put like 2 into like the Old Blood King, swing into a bat, Red Hot Ritual, kill the Old Blood King. You remove 3 things off of the bat board. You still have a Serpent. You still have the Medusa. Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. It's where you want to be. And once again, also you can search. Is it 2 or less or just 2? It's 2, right? Yeah, 2 or less. Oh, you can search Barrage too. Search Barrage. Win the bat matchup. Easy game. Broken card. That's why we play 3. Some lists were on 2. It's wrong. You know, that's why I like this one. I think the 3-ofs are the way to go. Don't be cute. Being cute only loses you games. Always play maximum copies of good cards, or unless they're searchable or redundant. And you know what makes a lot of these cards searchable? Faust. This is our new... I cannot believe the cards that Dirt Rune got this set. Faust, 5 mana, 4/4. Fanfare, we get 2 Earth Sigils that cost a total of 4 or less, and we get to put them into our EX area, and then shuffle our deck, and they cost 0 to play this turn. What I think is very powerful about this is the cards like Merlin, or some of these other cards, like, right, if Seiryotennan is fighting Rolnai destroys Seiryotennan, you guys still pay 1. It's not free. They cost 2 less. They still cost 1. Faust, you're getting Earth Sigils. There's really no counterplay for putting these on the board. And at the start of our end phase, Earthright, select a follower on your field, give it +1/+1, and deal 2 damage to each enemy leader. So we always get burn 2. This thing can be a 5/5. Or something else on our board can randomly get bigger. Just our board gets bigger for absolutely no reason. I don't know why this thing is happening. But more importantly, we get 4 mana worth of Earth Sigils spawned out of our deck. And for some reason, we have the Gingerbread House, which heals us for 3. And we have broken cards like the Mirror of Truth that can just summon cards like Seiryotennan out. And this guy doesn't have to evolve to do anything. So you can go Faust on like 6. Or you can go second with an Evo point, right? You can go Faust, Gingerbread House, Mirror of Truth, Seiryotennan, Evo with Orb, revive the Riley, Storm Face, blow up something, and then make your Faust bigger and burn. Like, your plays are truly insane. This deck is unbelievable. And of course, Faust can, you can always just go, if you don't need the heals, you can go dig 4 plus revive, or you can just do anything. You go 2 of these, get a giant board where you get to buff all of the golems on your board. He's not a golem, he's an alchemist, obviously. But yeah, definitely very module and powerful card. That's why we got the Price of Magic. Maybe the Faust is going to be like, healing us for 3 or drawing a card, and then using the Price of Magic to banish a card. I think the only reason he has this entire last line of text is so he can have Earthright, so we can grab him off of this and this. And they decided to just give it something, because like even without this like Earthright stuff, this first line of text is just so good on this card. But I think that's enough gushing about Earthright Rune. I think that we are going to realize pretty quickly this deck is broken. So let's get on the next one. Here's a... Whew, this deck is hot ass. This is the deck that's not the Draconic Duelist. That's going to be a second video. I'm going to have a video of both of those decks. I know that we got the Draconic Duelist, just a lot of those cards don't go into another deck. No, this is Jabberwock Lindworm. We got some big boys this set. So let's get into it. First up, we got Phylene. Phylene's broken tap cards. We'll start off with what our actual goal is. Our actual goal with the deck is Lindworm. We got a new boss monster. 10 mana, 10/10. Evolve for 5. You're like, oh, it costs 10 and he evolves for 5. How do we do this? Well, on play, we're going to get Play points back equal the number of Dragoncraft spells in your cemetery. That's right. For some reason, we have Runecraft Dragon coming in hot. So, what does this thing do on evolve? It becomes either the Virtuous Lindworm, which is an unbelievably powerful card, 10 mana, or it's a 10/10 ward, and at the end of our turn, we get to heal 6 and draw 3, refilling our hand. Usually, I don't think you ward this thing. You could ward it, single-handed. It's very hard to kill this thing. Without like straight hard removal because of its mana cost and its health total. And then the other side is also, let's say that one Lindworm lives, this thing manages to live. You got 10. Oh, look at that. The other Lindworm is a 10/10 Storm and Ignore Ward. We got Ignore Ward on this card. Actually unreal. We will never lose to the Bellringer Angel again. And how are we trying to get this card on the board? We're trying to Jabberwock it out. Notice that nothing else in our deck is below 3. Jabberwock is a pretty old card at this point. And a pretty... I wonder if it's actually expensive at this point. A lot of cards have gone up. But 7 mana, 7/7, we get to kill a card on our board, and then we keep revealing from the top of our deck until we find something that costs more than the card that we killed. And then the rest of our cards just go on the bottom in any order. They get shuffled up so we can't stack our deck. But what's more important is that there's no hits in the deck outside of the random... The additional Jabberwocks. There's only the Jabberwocks, and then there's Lindworm. So we always get the combo off as long as we can hit a 3-drop. But let's kind of look at what the new cards are that we got, right? We got the Blazing Breath. It's been broken since set 1. I mean, this thing is unreal. Waters of the Megalo Orc. Every time I play this deck, I think this card is horrendously bad. This is a 1 mana. You summon a 2 mana Megalo Orca token. 2 mana. Important. This is not a card that you can Jabberwock. But it's a 2/2. That's all it is. And if we're an overflow, we get 2 of them. So 2 2/2s for 2 for 1, as long as we're at 7 or more mana. Dragon Oracle, of course, obviously, we get to ramp with this card. It's broken. New card is the Force of the Dragon Newt. 2 mana, we get to hit an enemy follower for 3, and then also we can draw a drop. So this is going to be putting a spell in our grave, or it's going to be putting the Star Phoenix from forever ago. I bet nobody owns this one. I own one of these. But aren't they like expensive though? 3 mana, 2/2. It's a pretty shit card, but whenever we play a Dragoncraft spell during our turn, we can pay 1 mana, and this thing just gets put onto our board, and then it evolves for 1, and then it gets to ping something for 2. A little bit of removal. It's just like an infinitely recurring body that's very annoying, and then we always have Lindworm targets unless our opponent continuously blows up or kills us, which is probably what they'll do because our deck does not do anything unless it Lindworms. So yeah, but we also have the Unbound Emotion, 2 mana IMAS spell. It's better Conflag. AoE the board for 7, but its cost scales up to how many things we hit. So if our opponent does an Anastasia turn and we're not 7 mana, we actually can't clear the board. It's unfortunate, but this is the struggle of Dragon. We should have ramped twice by then. White Frost Whisper, this kills a tapped card, and this, of course, the Phylene gets it. I don't know how people actually afford Phylenes anymore. Hopefully you have this, because this deck is, for a joke, this deck is actually expensive now that I'm looking at it. Draconeer. Draconeer's good. Removal. It helps us live so we can get off the meme. He also costs 3, and he's going to be comboing with the PDK, which is also in the deck, because, we can't always have the Jabberwock. Sometimes we've got to hopefully, build a board that can live. PDK is going to be helping us with that, and it's going to be comboing with the Megalo Orca as well. And this card is just going to be all-around good Evo that help us get to our memes. This card, Dragon Soul Princess, in the last set, people played it with Galmew. This deck, I think, is much funnier. Better than the Ozzy Dahakas that you could be grabbing. No, you can grab with Ozzy Dahaka with it. That was... What was Ozzy's thing? He was just like Worm... Dragon? No, wait. What was he? Oh, yeah, it was... No, the Dragon Newts are the people. Yeah, he was Wormkin. Sorry. So, yeah, you could grab Ozzy Dahaka off this. But usually it was like Galmew or something. But this card... Regardless, 3 mana, 3/3. If we get top check 5 when we play it, and put a Wormkin into our EX area, most important Wormkin in our deck is Jabberwock, obviously. And then the important part is if we're in Overflow, it costs 3 less to play, which means this card basically costs 0, As long as we're in overflow and we can hit the Jabberwock off the top 5, that's a free Lindworm. Right there, Dragon Soul Princess into Lindworm. As soon as you hit 7, 5 spells engrave, Lindworm, heal 6, draw 3, get the big hand, get the second Jabberwock, win the game. It's that simple. It's that simple. Next up, the last card in the deck is Roy the Dragon, or Roy Dragon Cleaver. He gets the Dragon Life Blade in digital. That's all I remember. Fanfare, we get to search our deck for a 2-cost Dragoncraft spell, reveal it, add it to your hand, and for 1 mana we can evolve him, and he does 2 damage to an enemy follower. Reminder, that's why we're playing the Draconeer, otherwise we wouldn't have good enough removal. If we hit a Wormkin follower, he does 5 magically. He randomly just shits on cards that don't exist. Oh, he kills Galmio, I guess. That's kind of big. More importantly, this guy grabs Oracle, and that's insane. He can also grab the big board wipe if you really need it. Maybe you've already ramped, but usually if you've ramped, you can ramp again, win harder. That's the way I see it. This deck is sick. Good luck. I want to see some tournament reports where you guys win with it. Let me know if you do. I think it's a funny deck. Next up, wow, this is the big bad. This is the other big bad, right? I think Sword, Rune, and of course Abyss. That's what everyone's looking forward to. I looked at a lot of lists, and I think I settled on this one for where I'm going to be starting. There's going to be a lot of new cards to read, guys, because these cards were not playable until this set. So let's get into it. First up, the goal of the deck is we are going to play a lot of bats. That 1/1 token got a lot of support in this, and we're going to be playing all the vampire stuff. That in mind, yeah. Let's just get right into it. It's going to be a long one. 1 mana, 2/1 Raven the Midnight. We get a Force Bat on play, and once on each of our turns, when we play a Force Bat, we get to deal 1 damage to the enemy leader. A little bit of extra burn damage. It's really all it's there for. And then we have literally just a palette swap. It's the exact same card. It's the exact same art. In digital, this was a choose effect, and it was like 1 card with 3 different sides. And this, it's 3 different cards in your deck, and you just get the same card. Fanfare, once again, we're getting Force Bat, but this one says when we play a Force Bat, we get to heal 1. So 1 burns and has the 1/2 stat line, and then this one has the 2/1 very aggressive stat line, while also getting a little bit of burn, chipping people down quite quickly. This card is, you can't buy this card. Hope you have an Abyss starter deck. Summon Bloodkin, 1 mana. We get to summon a Force Bat, and we get to put a Force Bat into our EX area for later. Just get 2 bats. Vampire Fortress, 1 mana. We get to look at top 3. Reveal a vampire card. Don't worry, that's every card in the deck almost. Add to our hand, remaining cards bottom, and then we can pay 1, tap it, summon a Force Bat. So just more cards to give us bats, which once again, we could be proccing these. It's going to be working with every card in the deck. This card's really good. 2 mana, 1/1. Look at the stat line. You're thinking, no, it's not. But we could tap it, kill a Force Bat, and then we either select an enemy follower in the field, hit it for 4, and draw a card. That's pretty broken already. Or deal 2 damage to the enemy leader, and then we heal 2, and we still draw a card. So this is basically a 2 mana insight that also, I mean, it's just a 2 mana insight that either burns or removes. It's good. This card's insane, and it's converting to like a 1/1 that already hit face into just more damage, and then if this thing's on the board, you're supposed to waste time killing this. It has such a bad stat line on it that it's almost insulting that they have to waste time trying to kill it, right? That's why the Barrage is so good against this deck. Vania, Vampire Princess. This card was... if you haven't played since set 2, do you know how unbelievable this line of text is? This card is one of the strongest cards in the game as far as like how much it scales. Like Kagamitsu is the only thing that comes close. Fanfare, we get plus X equal the number of Force Bats on our board. So that means that this thing caps out at a 2 mana 6/6 and has pay 1. It's infinite times a turn, by the way. We get to sack a Force Bat on our board and then burn something for 3 and 1 damage to the enemy leader. It's mass removal. Spammable mass removal, and you can use it after you attack with the 1/1. This card is really strong. Like, unbelievably strong. And now we get a new card, Gift for Bloodkin. This card will be comboing with our boss monster. It's just a 2-mana card. It says cost 2 less to play if there are at least 5 vampire cards in our cemetery. So this is like a Necrocharge card. And we get to summon 2 Forest Bat tokens. Reminder, it's pretty broken with things like Vania. And if there's a Vania in our grave, we also get to draw a card. So this is 0 mana, draw 1, summon 2 bats is the best way to look at this. By the time you're going to be playing, this is going to be part of our like end game board combo at the very end of the game, probably, maybe. This was a card that I honestly haven't sleeved up yet in Cinderella Girls. I wanted to play a deck with this earlier, but you know what? It's finally coming around, and that's the Last Daylight. 2 mana. We get to burn something for 3, and then we get to +1 attack to each follower on our board with 1 or less cost. It's everything. These tokens that we're summoning are 1/1s. They suck. Suddenly, this thing could be 5 extra damage. This could be 5 face damage, hit something for 3. Think about that. Unbelievable. Unbelievably powerful card. Absolutely going to destroy our opponent with it. The Precious Blood Fangs. Choose one of the following. Summon X Forest Bat tokens. This card was like really bad in set 1 or set 2 when it came out. We get to either summon bats equal to the number of cards on our opponent's board. So free, you know, extra tempo. Or we get to give each forest bat on our board +1/+1. Wow, that's a lot of pluses. You can just quickly overwhelm your opponent if like a couple things live. Slam down a Vania, buff the bats, win the game. Simple as. One of Whispers of a Dream. Why is it a one of? It's not a back card, so it doesn't really go on our deck, but it's the best 40th card. There's not really, you don't want to be playing, like this card is not the card you want to be playing. I think this is just like a card. I think this is in the deck because it's a card you can play that if you have it, it can blow your opponent out. It can win the mirror. It can beat randomly, you know, it can beat Rune. It can beat bats. But it's not what you want to be seeing. It's a silver bullet one of. I know I say I hate them. It's in the deck. It worked for this guy. And I don't think it's inherently wrong. Next up, we got the new Vania. That's right, 2 Vanias, same deck. 3 mana, 3/3. Evolve for 1 into one side, and then the other side costs 3. But we can only do that if we've played the game for... it's turn 6. I think you'd have to have, like, not... maybe you got up or something and you timed out in real life multiple turns in a row. Then you wouldn't be able to evolve this. But in general, you're going to be able to evolve this card. And on play, we're going to get a Forest Bat token into our EX area. So let's see what the sides are. So first one is Vania the Kind Queen. On evolve, we get to draw a card and discard a card, filling up our grave a little bit more. And while it's on our board, any Forest Bat we play cost 1 less. They only cost 1, so that means they cost 0. And whenever a Forest Bat is put onto our field, we give our leader +1. Infinite heal. Seems pretty good. But this is the better one. The Vania the Blood Queen. This is... look at that. By the way, 3, 4. So yeah, this is 4 mana, 4/4. This is 6 mana, 6/6. Storm. While it's on our board, once again, Forest Bats cost 1 less to play. But our Forest Bats, when we play them, get to hit something on the board for 3. So not only does this thing come down... we can summon a couple bats, blow up our opponent's board, blow up their wards, hit them for 6. And then we have a bunch of bats. And you're like, oh, well, what do the bats do? Well, that's right. The bats are huge because we have all of these broken cards. And they're going to be wasting their time trying to kill the Vania, hoping that they don't die. Well, guess what? Then the bats come in and actually seal the game. Next up is the Old Blood King. This guy in digital gave your bats like Storm or something. He was insane. He is not as good here, but he's still a good card. 4 mana, 2/4, and while he's on your board, each Forest Bat gets Rush and Assail. Not Storm, I know, so sad. On play, though, we do get 2 Forest Bats. Once again, more bats. And we can evolve him for 1. And then each Forest Bat on our board gets +1 attack when he's evolved. And once again, our Forest Bats get Rush and Assail. Maybe you have some Stranglers. You just get to buff them with him. Swing the bats in, get the, what is that, 4 damage of removal, and then the other bats get to like maybe push like 2 to 4 face. And you kind of have to deal with this guy. You have to kind of deal with this guy or he's going to be cleaning up everything you play down. Kind of scary card. Big health total. This is the best card. This card was so good when it came out in BP... times Cosmic Mythos, right? This was in the Cosmic Mythos set, I believe. The same set as Howling Demon. The set with the anime cards, I believe. This card is unreal. So, cost 1 less to play if there's a vampire card. Okay, if you have literally anything on the board. I think the bats even have vampire. Yeah, they do. As long as you are physically able to put a card on the board, this is a 3-mana card, so just ignore that. We get 3 forest bats onto our board, and we get to draw 2. This thing is Pot of Greed plus summon 3 1/1s. But, oh, sorry. Oh, we got the Old Blood King, or we got the Vanias. We got literally anything on our board. Suddenly, this thing is drawing us a full hand. Maybe we're going to be able to drop down the Vania after. Maybe we're just going to leave them, and then we're going to get to combo with the Last Daylight. Unbelievably powerful card. Fills up our hand, puts a bunch of guys on board. Good card. Rose Queen, now instead of being in 2-cost Abyss, which was a really shit deck, she's in an actual good deck. We got 2 of her. We got basically 2 copies of each our top end. A little bit flexible. This card's pretty good. So we get the Thorn Burst, and then, so 6 mana, 4/4, but then on Evolve for 2, we get to show our opponent our hand, and they get mana back for each 2-cost card. And then whenever we play a card that costs 2, we get to burn 2 to the enemy leader. Wait, what is it? Yeah, it's to burn 2 to the enemy leader, or we get to AoE the board for 2 and heal for 2. So it's mass board wipe plus heal to get us out of range. Or it's just a bunch of face damage. And as long as you've been holding cards, I mean, you don't even need that many. Let's say that all you have is you've just death gripped this card and somehow every other card you've dodged. Because if we look here, we got 16 2-drops. Quite a few. Quite a few. You're going to be playing some of them throughout the game. But let's say all that you kept was the gift for Bloodkin. Right there is... This thing costs 0. This thing costs 0. You just get to draw 2 for free. So, we show our hand of 2. We get 2 mana back. And we get to play this. Get 2 bats. Draw a card. Burn 2. Play another one. Draw a card. Burn 2. And then we can follow up with the... on play, we got the little Thorn Burst as well. So that's another, like, burn 2 plus burn 3. So that's 9 damage, and it costs you, well, I mean, costs 8 mana. You drew 3 cards, and you're left with this thing on board. You also have the option to heal, and of course, the more 2-drops in your hand, the more reach that this card gets. And with the way that this deck is playing, if it's turn 8 and you need to deal more than 9 damage, 9 to 11, I don't know. You weren't winning that game. That's just that simple. Kudlak, 7 mana for 6. Select 2 vampire cards that cost a total of 6 or less in your cemetery. Put them onto your EX area. They cost 0 play points this turn. So we're going to be able to recycle Unleash the Nightmare plus Vania. So Kudlak, Unleash the Nightmare, summon 3 Forest Bats, summon Vania. You get a 5/5. You get all the 1/1s. You got the Kudlak. And then we can also tap him and then burn something for the number of vampire cards on your board, which is going to be 5. So it's tap him, burn something for 5. Seems kind of... I know that sounds crazy, but by 7, that's like putting up a board. It's like a 7 mana Anastasia board. That's actually a little bit shittier. Alternatively, that's really all you can do with him, right? This thing heals and draws 2 plus 4. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Kudlak. The Kudlak can go like Old Blood King plus... None of the Kudlak plays involve Storm. I don't like the Kudlak. I think the Rose Queen actually has much better reach and is a better card. But we got Kudlak in the deck because he's a vampire. He looks cool or something. I'm not a fan of this one. I'm not a fan of this guy. But that's the big bad. This is the bat deck. I think that the tier list is definitely going to be that Rune's a little bit better than bats. But guess what? We got one more deck. We got double Lost Turbo. That's right. We have Amulet Haven, and I played this deck. Did Amulets get worse? Or did like the other decks just get better? This deck is hot ass. I'm so sorry, guys. I want to be Haven's strongest soldier because Alexiel's hot, but... Okay, let's get into it. What do we have that's new? We got the Candelabra. When we get to play an Amulet, we get to heal our leader for 1. Why is that important? Because we got the Tenko Shrine. It's a 1 of it's searchable. 4 mana amulet. Whenever we heal, we can tap it. We can do this during our opponent's turn as well. And we get to hit two whole damage for 4 mana. It takes legitimately 3 turns for this thing to, like, see any fruit of its labors. Thankfully, the candelabra is that when we play the Tenko Shrine, we can tap it immediately. And then afterwards, we're going to have to be struggling a little bit after that. Of course, we're playing amulets, so we're playing the Sacred Pleas. We got the Will to Overtakes in, which allows us to scry, find the cards that we want, not draw the cards that we don't, which is important because we have actual invocation. This is like an invocation deck, by the way. We got a 1-of Boost Kicker. This is important. It says Faith at the bottom. That's actually very relevant for some reason in this set. He blows up the board on play for the amount of mana we invest into him. It's supposed to answer big bat boards, big dirt boards. The boards that are going to be killing you. Boost Kicker can come in clutch. This card's actually really good. Eidolon of Madness was good. Last time we talked about Amulet Haven, he came up. Just 2 Evo for basically free, 2 mana Evo for free as long as we're playing Amulet.deck. And then when he dies, he burns 3 to the enemy leader, but also gets to banish something on our opponent's board. We got 2 Phantom Blade Wielders. This card's good into bats. That's really why we play it. At the end of our turn, if we have 2 play points, we get to hit something for 2. It's like the Haven copy of Leod, and then on Evolve, we get to ping something. Yeah, ping something for 2, and then still ping something else for 2. It's just a card that just helps us win. Doesn't it recover mana? Am I crazy? No, it doesn't recover mana. It's the Haven copy of Leod. You're going to be floating mana to be able to crack the globe. It's going to be able to heal us, which will activate the Tenko Shrine on our opponent's turn to be able to get removal or burn. And then, of course, also we're going to be threatening the Space Needle, the Vengeful Radiance. Can't be played during our turn. We get to hit 2 things on the board for a total of 4. Hopefully it's enough. It doesn't kill the actual Vania, but let's not think about the fact it's not good enough to kill Vania by itself. But maybe it plus cracking a globe plus having the Tenko Shrine, maybe then we can kill the 6/6 Storm that's going to be threatening us. Morian's this impossible to pronounce card. 2 mana Zealot Amulet, draw a card on play, and then last word, select an enemy follower with 3 defense or less on the field and destroy it. Only ways we have to proc this really are the Dark Offering, and of course, there's a new card that we're going to go. It's Mejiro McQueen and the Nana Abe rolled into 1. First up is the White Fang Temple. This is our Invoke card. 3 mana at the start of our end phase. We get a prayer counter on this, and we get to heal 1. And at the start of our main phase, if we have 3 prayer counters on it, mandatory remove it. Search our deck for a Faith Follower that costs 4 or less, summon it, and then shuffle the deck. Even if we whiff the Candelabra early, if we see this can activate our Tenko on 4 by getting a counter. That part's important. And then the 4-cost Faiths, or we have the Boost Kicker. Does this thing have Faith? No, of course it doesn't. Does this thing have Faith? We can summon the Phantom Blade Wielder. That's very cool. Does this thing have Faith? Well, it costs definitely more than 4. Never mind. The actual target is the new card, the Seiryotennan Hind. Yeah, sure. The 4 mana 4/4 on play. We get to look at 5. It's not an Abe. We get to look at 5 for an amulet. Rest go on the bottom, but then we get to evolve, and we got 2 different sides to the deer. We can either kill an amulet on our board, getting rid of a candelabra that was. Oh, see that lag? There we go. We can get rid of the candelabra that's clogging our board, or we can get rid of the Eidolon to be able to burn, 3. And then also we would be able to heal 4. Burn 3, heal 4. Not bad. Came out for 0. Can't complain about that. Or we can bury an amulet, select an enemy leader or enemy follower, and deal it 4. So this thing can deal 7 face damage for 0 mana, beginning of our turn. And then, it's Themis and it's Alexiel. We know Alexiel from last set. At least I hope you do. Very fun card. Lots of heal. Big burn. The reason I played this one over some of the other ones that maybe played some of the older cards, like Nana Abe, McQueen, is honestly the guy who rocked this build in Japan. It was on the spreadsheet like 2 or 3 times. He did pretty well with it multiple times in a row. After testing it, it's honestly not that bad. Like the candelabras, if you see multiples, You can just like sack them off with the deer and you're in an okay spot. But that's the end of this one. If you like these 6 deck profiles, smash that like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you like. You're excited to play this set. I have 2 more deck profile videos. I didn't want to do them all at once. I want to do a separate video for the Draconic Duelist and the Mysteria cards, and then I want to show off a few of the less powerful decks. Like, I think the ones that I showed here are the best versions of their archetypes, but, you know, I want to give some love to some of the jank this set. I think there's a lot of cool stuff in this set, and I'm very excited to see what, you know, what comes of it. And until next time, it's your boy Dean, signing out.